Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Adam's Eats. Now as you can tell, I've got my Christmas jumper on, so it's the start of the festive season, so I'm going to make for you a nice festive recipe. Now this is kind of like a breakfast, brunch, kind of evening supper dish, something you'd make on Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, something like that, and that is eggs Benedict, or eggs Benny as they call it in America. Now it's not the easiest thing to make. I mean, if you're a novice cook, I suggest you go practice making hollandaise sauce, practice making poached eggs, so you'll have an easier time in the kitchen. And it's a really tasty thing to eat. We're going to get a nice English muffin, we're going to toast it, and then we're going to top it with some nice smoked streaky bacon, that lovely poached egg, and that gorgeous runny hollandaise sauce. Now it's going to be stonking, so the first thing we need to do is make the hollandaise sauce. So if you look down below in the description, you can get a list of the ingredients you need, and also if you press pause now, you can get a list of them there as well. So if you bring your face down to the hob, I'll show you how to do it. Right, okay, so let's get on and make the hollandaise sauce. Now what I've got here is a nice sturdy metal bowl, and then I've got a saucepan underneath which has got about 1 inch of water in it. Now it's really important that the water doesn't touch the bottom of the bowl, because if you do that, it's going to put too much heat into the bowl and it's going to split your eggs. So just make sure that when you put the bowl in, you take it out, it comes out dry, which that is. So pop that in there, and I'm just going to put the gas onto a low to medium, and we want to bring the water up to a gentle simmer. Okay, so once your water is nice and gently bubbling, it's important that you don't have a vigorous boil, because again, you're going to scramble the eggs. So I'm going to put the bowl back in, and then I've got 2 egg yolks here. Just plop those into the bowl, and immediately start whisking. Okay, you've got to keep whisking all the time, and as you start to whisk the eggs, you'll start to see them kind of double in volume. And then you can go in with your white wine vinegar, again whisking all the time, and as the egg yolks start to thicken, we can now start adding our melted butter. So I've got 125 grams here, and I'm just going to add a little bit at a time. Again, just keep whisking. Okay, you've got to drizzle it in nice and slowly, because if you go too quick, it's going to split. As you add it, you'll start to see it emulsify, and you'll end up with a nice hollandaise sauce. Okay, so I've whisked in all of my butter. Now what you can do is, if you find that it starts to split, you've added your butter a bit too quickly, or it's a bit thick like this, you can add a splash of cold water. Let's get that in, and whisk that in, and that will kind of emulsify into the egg yolks and the butter and make a nice sauce. You can see I've got some lumps around the edge here. That's just where obviously the egg has kind of hit the sides of the bowl, but not to worry. But what you've got there is a lovely hollandaise sauce. So now what I'm going to add is just a pinch of pepper. Let's get that in, and also just a tiny bit of salt. Again, whisk that in. Let's give it a taste. Beautiful. So now what I'm going to do is take that off the heat. I'm going to pop it on the back here, and that'll happily sit there and keep warm whilst we get on and make the poached eggs. Right, okay, so let's poach the eggs then. Very, very simple. I've got a pan here with water, which I've just brought up to a very gentle simmer. Now you can see there's hardly any movement in there whatsoever. You don't want it boiling, because it's just going to chuck your egg all over the pan, and that's not what we want. Remember, we're poaching, not boiling. So once you've got your water to this kind of temperature, we're just going to plop our eggs in, just gently. And those will take about 3.5, maybe 4 minutes to poach. Just check them about halfway through, just lift them out with a slotted spoon and just test that yolk. It should be a little bit bouncy, a little bit of resistance, but you should be able to just still feel that it's runny inside. So I'm going to give these about 3.5 minutes, and then I'll show you the next step. Well, okay, so it's been about 3.5 minutes. I'm going to get these puppies out. Just lift them out with a slotted spoon and just give them a little press. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a nice bit of resistance there still, so that yolk should be still quite runny inside. I'm going to pop them onto some kitchen towel just to get rid of any water. So that's the poached eggs done, hollandaise is done. We now need to toast the muffins. Right, okay, so let's toast the muffins. Now what I've got here is the pan that I fried off some bacon off earlier. I used smoked streaky bacon, 4 rashers, and I've got all the bacon fat in there, and I'm just going to add a knob of butter. Let's get that in. Let that melt until it's foaming. Okay, so once the butter is nice and hot, we're going to get our muffin, which I've cut in half. Just going to place them face down, and I'm going to toast these until they're lightly golden brown. Right, so I've toasted the buns. We are now ready to assemble. So the first thing I'm going to do is take our bacon that I cooked earlier, just place a couple of rashers on each one. Then I'm going to take our gorgeous poached eggs. Now these have been sitting for a bit too long because that's the nature of filming when you're on your own. So they might have set a bit too much, but they should still be a little bit runny inside. And I'm just going to season the tops with just a pinch of pepper and also some salt as well. Now I've got the hollandaise sauce here, which I reheated very, very gently. Just put the pan back on and just bring it up to temperature and just whisk in a little bit of cold water just to loosen it, and then just gently warm it through. You don't need it screaming hot, just nice and warm. So we're going to pour that over our poached eggs. And then just for a bit of onion kick, just a sprinkling of freshly cut chives. And there we have it, guys. That is my eggs Benedict. So I'm going to go and quickly take a thumbnail and then we'll get stuck in. Right, okay, let's tuck into one of these. I'm hoping the egg is still a bit runny, but we'll see. So let's go in and have a look. Oh, it's not too bad. It has set a bit, but there's still a bit of runniness in there. But obviously you're not going to be filming it, so you're going to have a much better time. So let's give it a try. Even though it's stone cold, it's still absolutely delicious. That hollandaise sauce gives a nice twang. That smoked bacon just works really well, that hollandaise. And also by toasting the muffin in the bacon fat and that bit of butter, just adds another layer of flavour. Well, I can honestly say, guys, that was wizard. I polished off both of them. Look, both gone. It's really tasty, and once you've nailed down how to make a hollandaise, get your poached eggs right, it's pretty easy, to be honest. It's not that difficult. Well, there we are, guys. That's how to make eggs Benedict. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please stick a like down below. Leave a comment as well. Share it across your social media platforms. And as always, if you stick around at the end, there'll be some links to some other videos. And also, if you'd like to subscribe, there'll be a button for that as well. And I'll see your lovely faces next time for more tasty fun and frolics. And bye for now.